Welcome back to Bat Fridays here on One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Batman 16 and the fourth and final story, and a big one it is. Here comes Alfred, the introduction of Alfred the Butler. Yes, if you didn't know, it took a few years for Alfred to be introduced, and Robin was actually introduced before him. Even though any times we now tell the origin or even just do a Batman story, it's more likely that Alfred's going to be there than, say, Robin. And like with Two-Face, Alfred comes pretty well completed, as I mean, he will stay consistent through most of his iterations over the years. That's going through the Silver, Bronze, and Modern Age, and even different versions like, say, Rebirth and Now. I mean now, because Rebirth happened, and then DC Metal, and then DC Death Metal, which made everything in continuity. I'm not going to go into that further. That would be a different video. But still, so Alfred's origin is usually he became an actor when his father, Jarvis, who was the Wayne family butler, was unhappy with him getting into acting. But when Jarvis passed, Alfred became the family's new butler, following after his father and taking over his job. This is actually in the story, though a slight change here. Jarvis wasn't the family butler anymore, so Alfred just kind of coming over here and declaring himself the family butler. But that holds true. His father not being happy with him being an actor. He was an actor. He's a little more sillier of a character. He's not as old. He's still British and very American writing British. But there is another fact of Alfred that doesn't hold true. He's an amateur criminologist, kind of like Batman. But he's an amateur sleuth, essentially, and that's not going to hold true. In fact, Alfred usually is very snarky about Bruce becoming Batman and being Batman, though this Golden Age Bruce Wayne really needs some more detective skills, because mostly he's just running into crime and punching it. And that's no different from this story. Yes, it's basically that, and its biggest problem is, like, when you open to the first page, it's just a sea of dialogue and description. I mean, it's full of writing, almost wall-to-wall text. It's ridiculous. This is maybe one of the worst I've seen it in Batman, and it's been pretty bad before. As for the actual story, Alfred accidentally gets attacked while coming off the boat, which happens to be where Batman and Robin is, by a big gangster, and he fights him off. Actually, this Alfred's pretty good at fighting, which I wouldn't say is a consistent thing for Alfred. At best, he might be able to attack somebody from behind, but he's not like a big fighter, unless we're talking about like Batman Earth 1, where Alfred used to be like a Navy Marine. He was formerly a military guy, but usually a medic, so we can explain how he's able to patch up Batman very well. But he's not usually a badass. I don't want to say he's a badass here, but he throws some punches and is able to take out some guys. He's a little wacky. I was going to say Clouseau, but that's too far. He's not that out of it or clumsy, but he is a little silly. And of course, he stumbles upon finding out that his new charges are in fact Batman and Robin, and thinks they need his help. He actually does end up helping them. They get captured like they usually do. He saves them, and they take out the criminal. The whole criminal plot is not particularly very interesting. The interesting part of the story is all Alfred, and seeing Alfred kind of figure out that they're Batman and Robin, mostly stumbling. Here's the thing. I said he needs a detective, and even with this guy being an amateur sleuth, he doesn't really sleuth anything. He just kind of comes across things. We're still not particularly good at the actual detective work in Batman, though, to be honest, has Batman ever been great at that? There are a few stories and writers who do pull that off, but most of the time, he may be the world's greatest detective, but it's not much of a detective story or character. We rather see him punch things, annoyingly enough. I'd like to see him be a better detective. I've seen enough him punching people. But I think it's an interesting story, especially seeing its historical importance. And it's fascinating to see Alfred get his due in his introduction, and not just sort of showing up like some other characters do over the course of comics. Okay, that is it from Batman 16. Here comes Alfred. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Mondays and Thursdays, I cover a Superman story in either Action Comics or Superman. And please join me next time, same Bat Day, same comic book channel. Have a great day.